Hello and welcome back to my RC channel. I'm AndyRC and today I'm going to be remaking a video that I previously uploaded to YouTube some time ago, but unfortunately YouTube decided to delete that video without giving me a valid reason. And I find it incredibly frustrating because I quite often find myself needing to refer back to this video, but it's not on my channel. So I'm going to remake it. The video is all about dynamically stretching 4:3 aspect ratio video footage to 16:9 so that we don't have black bars down the side, while at the same time retaining the aspect ratio in the center of the picture so that it's not distorted. And I think this is especially important these days because the majority of the HD systems or HD action cameras that we put on our quadcopters have native 4:3 sensors. Some of them have native 16:9 sensors, but there's a reason that the majority of them have native 4:3 sensors, and that's because you can get the most efficiency out of them. They are essentially square, so when a round lens is pointed at them, you are getting the most amount of pixel use, and you don't get that with a 16:9 sensor. So why is dynamically stretching the 4:3 video to 16:9 so important to me? Well, the footage we were just looking at is from the DJI Caddx Vista, and as you can see, it is a 4:3 aspect ratio. And yes, if you go into the DJI goggles, you can switch to a 16:9 aspect ratio, but because it's a 4:3 sensor, it can't just stretch out the sides here like that. What it has to do is crop the top and the bottom off, so you actually lose field of view even though the picture is bigger. And for me, when I'm flying FPV, vertical field of view is very important. Now you might be asking, why not just stretch it in a linear way? And yes, you can do that, but that really bothers me. In fact, we can do that here in VLC Player. So if I select 16:9 and go back to the guitar, you can see everything is stretched out. I mean, the guitar looks really fat. You hear people saying on TV, don't you, the camera adds 10 pounds, but it's more than likely that they're looking at the TV in the wrong aspect ratio. I hate it when people do that. Maybe it's an OCD thing. But anyways, I'll put this back to 4:3 here. So how do we dynamically stretch it to 16:9 and make it look nice? Well, I'm going to close that first. So I've always had GoPro Studio version 2 before GoPro had dynamic stretching built into the camera. They call it Superview, but really it's dynamic stretching, and it has existed before GoPro. I remember I had a TV and I was watching an old episode of Friends, which is shot, or broadcast should I say, in 4:3. But it was stretched to 16:9, and I noticed something strange going on around this area here, and the TV had dynamic stretching built into it when a 4:3 image was broadcast. And the GoPro Studio has this dynamic stretching feature built into it before they had it in the camera. Now, you can no longer download this from GoPro, but they don't say that you can't use it. You can see on GoPro's website here, it says that they now use this quick application, but it says that you could still use the older version of GoPro Studio if you want to. So I'm sure you can find somewhere to download it, no problems, but you can't download it from GoPro's website. So there are some other cameras that have a 4:3 sensor, quite a lot as I mentioned. So there is the Runcam 5 Orange, there is the Tarsier, and I've actually got a good example here of the Runcam 5 Orange. So that's its 1440p 4:3 aspect ratio, and look at the field of view up the top there, and I didn't move the camera and switched it to 1080p, and look how much it has cut off the top of the image. So that's why I like to dynamically stretch it and have the best of both worlds. So what I'm going to do is I have actually got a Runcam flight here, so I'm going to drag it into here and it should appear up the top there in the studio. And you can actually put as many of them in here as you like. What I tend to do is go to advanced settings, and where it says quality I usually set it to high, because what it's going to do is re-encode it to raw AVI, which produces quite a big file. So I set it to high quality and make sure you've got a lot of space. I've got around about 100 gig here. So then what you need to do is add the clip to conversion list, and you can do that for all of them, and this is where it's going to convert it to an AVI format. So it takes a while to do that, so I'm going to press convert all and we'll wait for it to do that. So now that's complete, we can proceed to step 2, and all I need to do is drag the file there down into this timeline. It's actually an editor at the same time, but you can see down here we have got an option 4:3 to wide, and you just click that and ta-da, there it is. We have dynamically stretched it. In fact, you can see the effect here because you can change the sliders. So we've got horizontal zoom, so that is there, and then this is the stretchy part it does in the middle. So that's out to 16:9 like that, and you can see in the center that's where it's retaining the aspect ratio. So that would be a linear stretch, and then that is dynamically stretched, but it's got a preset here, so you just click that. And the last thing to do is export it. It's very straightforward. You do have some settings here, so I choose the bitrate as the highest at 50 megabit and the frame rate as source, and also the size at 1080 because we're going from 1440p to 1080, and I use H.264 as the codec. It tells you the file size here as well. You can actually go for a higher bit rate if you choose one of the others, such as Cineform or things like that. Actually, it doesn't tell you the number, but believe me, the file size is colossal. So I always find that H.264 is fine, and 50 megabit is fine for 60 FPS. So I'm going to press export now. Then you need to navigate to the folder where you want to save it, and I'm just going to type S for stretch and then save, and it should export. It does take some amount of time for it to do it, depends on the speed of your computer. It usually takes around about 5 to 7 minutes, and we'll take a look at the file once it's done. Okay, so that's finished processing. Let's take a look at the original, what it was like. So that's the 4:3 aspect ratio. Just gonna dive the tree there, and then this is the dynamically stretched version. That was good timing. As you can see, we have got the aspect ratio correct in the center, and then it stretches out towards the sides. Also makes the model look like it's flying faster as well. That's why a lot of people like to use Superview with GoPros. And I did do some other ones as well, so we can take a look here. This is the Caddx, so if I can find where the guitar part was, there we go. So you can see it coming up to the guitar this time, and it no longer looks fat, so it's retained the aspect ratio in the middle and then stretched it out to the sides, and we have 16:9. So that is why I love it. And I also did a quick one with the Tarsier as well, because that one also has a 4x3 sensor. So this is when we were playing around with the bikes some time ago. Really missed those times. And this is the original here. So if your camera has a 16:9 sensor, then you can't dynamically stretch it because it's already getting the full field of view. But if your camera does have a 4x3 sensor, then you should be able to dynamically stretch it using this method. Now, this GoPro Studio is old. It does tend to favor MP4 and MOV, but of course you can convert things using other converters. I quite often convert my DVR footage from my goggles from AVI to MP4, and that works as well. But there you go, that is how to dynamically stretch 4x3 aspect ratio video footage to 16:9. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, thanks so much for watching. Please continue to subscribe. Cheers.